Hey there everybody, this is Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas River Basin. Celebrating our 35th anniversary here this year, in business since 1990 here on the Arkansas River. Thanks so much for the support of everyone watching here today, as well as throughout that 35-year history. We couldn't have done it without you. And we always look forward to seeing you here in the fly shop or on the river. Thanks so much for your patronage, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the season here. We are entering that fishing in a barrel season, which is truly a magical window of time on the Arkansas River. It is June 11th here today as I record this video. However, we are already starting to see clearing edges and receding conditions on the Arkansas River freestone stretch. With lower than average snowpack and a little bit of early melt and some rain here and there, we've seen our snowpack dwindle relatively quickly. Now, there is still some snow at the very northern end of the basin towards the headwater in those high altitude snowfields, and we'll continue to see some melt in that area. However, conditions are excellent already. We've got over 2 feet of edge visibility in Bighorn Sheep Canyon in Canyon City, probably even better than that up in the Salida area and moving up into Buena Vista, and almost clear conditions towards the headwater at Hayden Meadows. And we'll see a pretty substantial cut and release out of Twin Lakes over the next couple days, which should land us in that 1,400 to 1,600 CFS range here by the weekend here, Father's Day weekend. That's a very fishable level, folks. There's a lot of open edge water to walk the edge and poke and prod that first 10 to 15 feet from the edge. You've got to remember, during this window of time, all of the fish reside in that area within 10 to 20 feet of the bank because they've been pushed into those areas of least resistance during runoff. They want that less hydraulic water. They're looking for soft edges and pockets. And that's where you're going to find them in that first 10 to 20 feet, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks post runoff, which we are truly moving into post runoff now. Those fish will be very, very condensed. After that point in time, once we get under 1,000 CFS and more towards that 700, 800, 900 CFS level, and once we stabilize in that area, we begin to see fish spread out much more, and we have to cover a lot more water and do more wading than we would in this fishing in a barrel time period. So it's a very advantageous time period to be out there. We are able to throw large dry flies, dry dropper, streamers, and fish are very, very, very opportunistic. Can be some of the highest number days of the year in this given window, and this year it looks like it's going to be the last couple weeks of June, maybe first week of July. Now, things can change. We can see flows change, adjust here and there, but we've already got some really fishable conditions up there. So I'd like to show you a few patterns that I want to focus on here personally during the fishing in a barrel window, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about how we like to rig those patterns and how to approach the river at higher levels, whether it be floating or wading, and how we need to kind of cover that water during this window of time. So let's take a peek at some flies real quickly, and then we'll be right back with you. Alrighty folks, so here's a look at that awesome bug board. that we've put together for y'all as we enter that famed fishing in a barrel, receding edges time period on the Arkansas River, and really applicable to any large river in the state of Colorado, large freestone river coming off runoff. Really heavy on the stoneflies, stonefly dries, stonefly nymphs, our terrestrials, our hoppers, our yellow sallies, our caddis. And this is very transferable to a lot of different watersheds in the state, so do keep that in mind as you're preparing for your days on the water. Let's start at the upper left here. We've got some really good stonefly representations. This is what's called a fool's gold. The fool's gold comes in a lot of different colors. It's a great skating, large, double foam dry fly, floats really well, really visible, knotted legs, moves really well. And that's in the golden stonefly color, and I like this in a size 10 and 12. Our true golden, which is another foam body golden stone, probably the most realistic stonefly adult that we do sell here. Our Amy's Ant, just a tried and true old school pattern from Jack Dennis. That elk hair wing, very visible, super floaty. Double stack chubby, really hard to beat. I do like to have some darker colors to fish, just a little bit more visible if you do have a little bit off color water, tinted water, a little bit more visible for fish. So that's kind of in an olive, and that's a size 10 and 12 as well. Our Water Walker series, this is one of our favorites. I'm sure you've heard us talk about it. You'll hear it a lot more as well. This is the Golden Stone category Water Walker in a size 12. We've got some great kind of hopper representations here. We've got the Henneberry hopper here. We've got a Thunder Thighs style hopper here as well. Both really, really strong producers for us. But there's a lot of different great hoppers out there. Just make sure it's nice and floaty, and typically more yellow and tan on the Arkansas and in our area. Moving over to the Yellow Sally adults, our adult Yellow Sallies, we've got our Nobbler, which is a foam, a tractor dry, kind of nice for that real soft edge water, throwing maybe a smaller nymph off the back. We've got, again, our Fool's Gold series in the Yellow Sally. We've got a Fin Fetcher, which is more of a hatch matcher, not really suited for running a dropper unless it's really light underneath. Variety of caddis out there, mostly black, olive, and tan bodies. This is called a high-rise caddis. That's a foam body with high vis. We've got our center stage caddis, which is about as buggy as it gets. That's a fantastic tan body. Our pale morning duns, we started to see PMDs hatching before runoff, folks, if you can believe it. So PMDs, our pale morning duns, will be front and center as we start to fish the edges here and move into summer prime time. This is Phil Iwana's Iwana Dun extended body. We've got our Mystical Cripple. This is our pale morning dun cripple with that foam back. Really good high floating fly. We've got our Hotspot Comparadun. Okay, really, really strong producer for us here day in, day out in the summer season. Really, really visible for both us and the fish. Moving into the stonefly category, stonefly nymph category, we've got our Stone Bomb and 20 Bomb series, which are great producers with higher water and kind of edge fishing. We've got our Flexi Girdle Bug series, and you can see I've got a mini girdle bug here, which is a size 16, and I've got a larger style. So maybe these larger stoneflies you use for double nymphing, and then this could be even a dropper underneath a larger dry fly. Really effective that way. We've got our 6'6" Sick Stone, which is just a jumbo super heavy conehead style golden stonefly. As the stoneflies begin to really crawl heavily against the edge where they hatch, as you may know, they do crawl to the edge to hatch. Then fish will really be keyed to them on the substrate as well on those edges and soft pockets. Our crane flies, we've got our Mocheck crane series here, both in olive here on the right and tan on the left. Moving into our yellow sallies, a lot of great options here at the fly shop, but a few of my favorites in the yellow sally nymph category. We've got the Spanish bullet style yellow sally, which is a great dropper, sinks like a rock, super durable, great guide fly for us. Our iron sally, which has been around for a long time. This one's tied on a jigged hook and slotted beads, so a little bit heavier. And then we've got our red tag sally, which has been my personal favorite over the last several years. Tied on a jig. We also have it in a standard hook here at the fly shop. Moving into our attractors and kind of caddis crossovers, we've got our blowtorches, which are heavy hitters here, as many of you know that fish the river a lot. One of our go-to flies. So we've got the black here up top, and we've got the hare's ear below it. That's a size 14 and a 16 here. Those will be good sizes, but you could fish it in a 12 if you wanted a lead fly for a double nymph rig, or if you just needed to get down a little bit more. We've got our Thrasher series, which this guy's in yellow, so more of a yellow sally or a PMD crossover. This one's going to be more of a pheasant tail colored, which is a good crossover for a variety of different bugs. We've got our GTI caddis larva. We've got our Gasolina here. Both great caddis larva attractors. Frenchie fishes as a lot of different stuff, so that can be a really go-to fly for you. You see a lot of repetition here with our Euro nymph style flies. You're going to see just a huge amount of Euro nymphing style flies in our cases here at the fly shop, simply because they are so effective. They get down fast, they stay down in the strike zone. That jig hook is super effective in creating angle on the fish once you've hooked them. It also does not snag up as much, which is super important when we're fishing the edges and soft pockets post runoff with debris and sticks and things of that nature on the edges after runoff. Those jig hooks can really save your day. In the PMD category, we've got Mike Mercer's Poxyback PMD, which has been a heavy hitter here for a long time. We've got Juan Ramirez's Slim Shady PMD, which is probably our day in, day out best producing pale morning dun nymph. We've got our Crackback PMD, which is a really cool little heavy tungsten pale morning dun. And then moving over to our streamer category, obviously we've got a million great streamer options here. We've got a huge selection of streamers to choose from, but I do typically err on the darker side coming out of runoff and moving into that, post runoff summer primetime window. I like a lot of black. I like a lot of olive. We've got our Supernatural Peanut Envy here. That's one of my go-to favorites. Just really a lot of nice color change in that fly. Still kind of that core olive body and tail. Moves really well. You've got our mini Sex Dungeon in black, which is just a heavy hitter for us. We've got our baby Heisenberg in black. All of these three are doubles, so they do have two hooks on them. For trailers, when we're running two streamers, which I highly recommend, you're going to get a lot of chases, a lot of movement, a lot of fish peeling out on the bigger fly, especially in heavier velocity. And then if we throw a trailer underneath that guy off the back hook, we can really seal the deal with some smaller streamers if we go that direction. It's what I term a trapdoor and really gets the job done. But sometimes on any given day, they may really be into the big fly and they may peel around that smaller fly and just eat that big fly regularly, in which case you can always cut these smaller trailers off. But probably my number one is black and white Dalai Lama. That's in the Micro Llama series, so that's a number 8 right there. We've got Chicago Overcoat. That's a size 10. I do like them in 10s and 12s for trailers. And then we've got a Jig Slumlord, which is really great pattern, just real simple, but fishes real well as kind of a larger leech pattern. And that guy's an olive, but I love it in black as well. Okay, so a lot of good options there for you on our big bug board. And let's now return and kind of talk a little bit about how to rig these guys and how we like to approach the river in that receding edge and early summer prime time. Alrighty, folks, so hopefully a look at those particular fly patterns is helpful for you as you begin to prepare for approaching the Arkansas River here in the next small time frame, that fishing in a barrel window, and also moving into summer prime time, as many of these patterns will be very suitable through the month of July. Again, as we saw, we've got a really good mix of those early hatches. We've got stoneflies starting to ramp up. We've got a lot of terrestrials, the hoppers, the flying ants, things of that nature. The hoppers will be variable size. We've got caddis, we've got pale morning duns, those yellow sallies obviously are paramount and will be a heavy hitter here for the foreseeable future. And then really just focusing on those same bugs subsurface. So if we're going dry dropper or dry double dropper, we're really focusing on, your caddis pupa and your caddis larva and your PMD nymphs and your yellow sally nymphs and attractors, obviously, those thrashers, those blowtorches and things of that nature. If we're dry dropper fishing and the water is higher and even on the edges, could be 2 to 3 feet deep, and that's truly why we do recommend that you are rock hopping. You're in and out of the water in safe locations. You're using bridges to cross the river. You're not trying to wade into the river. It's still pushy, or you're fishing it from a boat. You're floating. But within that 2 to 3 foot water depth there, you will have to extend those droppers underneath those big bushy dry flies quite a bit. And even in the spring, we'll run a long dropper or a double dropper. So don't be opposed to running a 24 to 30 inch drop off of that dry. And then if you want to run a second nymph, you can certainly do that. Although I don't really in particular think that's necessary in that fishing in a barrel time period. I think fish are very opportunistic and typically will eat what you put in front of them. It's more about covering water, putting the fly in the right place, focusing on those soft seams, edges, and pockets within that 10 to 20 feet from the bank. And there may be some softer pockets a little bit further out there, and if you feel like you can effectively reach those with a cast or by wading, then certainly do that. Streamer fishing will be really at the forefront of the streamer prime time. So we are really ramping up our streamer activity. As water temperatures warm up even more, we'll see streamer activity only continue to ramp up. But with water temperatures in the 50s and low 60s here on warm days, that's plenty suitable enough for really strong activity there. You'll have a lot of fish in chase mode, territorial, and so streamer fishing will be a true go-to for you. Now, if you're wading, typically what I recommend, if you can carry 2 rods, fantastic. Carry a 5 weight with a dry dropper setup, or a nymphing setup if you prefer, and then carry a streamer rod. And typically what I'll do is I'll dissect a section, I'll figure out which section I'd like to fish, and I'll work it moving upstream. I'll cover that water, that edge water, with the dry dropper setup or the nymphing setup, and then I'll take a break at the top of that section. I'll switch to my streamer rod, and if the river's running from left to right here, I'll cast quartering upstream into the heavier current. I'll let that swing down into those softer edges and pockets, and I'll retrieve it back through that water that I had fished previously on the edge. And then I'll take a few steps down and do the same thing again with that streamer rod. Very, very effective. You may have a few fish hanging out in that higher velocity area as well that you can show the fly to, especially a larger streamer like you see back here on the wall, darker contrasted fly like what you saw on the bug board. You can get their attention with that fly even if they're in slightly off color water, heavier velocity water. They'll follow it back into the edge, and typically very opportunistic, they're going to hammer that thing. And again, we'll really sweep and cover that water well moving back downstream with the streamer, and pick up some fish that maybe we didn't show the fly to going upstream with the dry dropper. That's personally my favorite tactic. Now, you can approach the river any way you'd like to. Obviously, via wading, there are a number of ways you can skin that cat, so to speak. From a boat, all that we're doing is really focusing, putting the boat in the center of the river and really focusing on those edges, especially that north bank, that far bank, and putting it in the same type of water. The soft edges, the pockets, we're picking that water apart. We're trying to leave it in, get a nice drag-free drift momentarily, and then typically that fly is going to get swung out there, swung out of that, drift. It's difficult at higher velocity flows out of the boat to really get a long drift against the edge, but you only need a few seconds, sometimes a split second. Sometimes those fish will hammer that fly as it hits the water. So that's typically what we're focused on out of the boat. We're banging that shoreline with the streamer. We're stripping off the bank rapidly. We're picking up. We're doing the same thing over again. We're using our rod tip to move the fly as needed. The biggest thing out of the boat streamer fishing on the Arkansas River is make sure you're connected to the fly. Do not introduce slack to the fly. Really focus on getting the fly into that prime zone, right against the bank, right against the vegetation, in that soft pocket or that front pillow seam in front of the rock, and then getting connected to the fly quickly, strip, rod tip, however you need to move it to keep connected to the fly. Fish will really react to those faster strips as we move into the summer season. So the quick, or even long and fast, and introducing the rod tip wiggle can really help as well. Covered a lot of details there for you, but really it's a simple time period. The biggest thing is approach the river safely, but understand that there's a ton of edge water to work with, whether you're wading or you're floating. Just make sure that you can see the bottom where you're wading and you understand your limits in and out of the water. And again, remember, you do not need to wade into the middle of the river in order to catch a pile of fish during that receding edge fishing in a barrel time period, and even into that summer prime time and through the month of July. Most of those fish are tucked against the bank and in those softer pockets and seams and areas of least resistance. Okay, so hopefully that's all helpful information for you. If you are in the Denver area, I will be in Denver on June 26th speaking at Orvis Park Meadows. I believe that is set for a 6 p.m. start time there at Orvis Park Meadows. Had a great presentation there last year, great crowd. We had a lot of fun. There's food and beverage there. They'll have beer for you. Swing by on June 26th that evening. That's a Thursday night. Would love to see you as we talk about the current state of the Arkansas River and tactics for approaching the seasons of the Arkansas. Very popular topic, and one that I obviously am very passionate about. Hope to see you all there if you're in the Denver metro area, Fort Collins, that area, Colorado Springs. Come on down on June 26th to Orvis Park Meadows there in South Denver. If you have any questions, as always, send us an email, info@royalgorgeanglers.com, or call us 888-994-6743, or send us a message on our chat line on the website, which is available to you during our normal fly shop hours. Just shoot a message on through and we'll get back to you. Whoever's on the floor in the fly shop can return a message right back to you. Really simple. We want to get you as much information as you need, as much possible there. And we want to make sure that you have your best day on the water out there. Come enjoy this 102-mile gold medal section of the Arkansas, but also realize that we've got so many incredible tributaries to the Arkansas, small water venues, all within a half hour of Canyon City proper. All of our high mountain lakes are beginning to open up, which is so exciting, in the Sangre de Cristo range and the Collegiate range. Just too many to count in number. You have so many great options to get out in the wilds of Colorado and enjoy trout fishing, and also great other opportunities for warm water species and pike and tiger muskie and things of that nature, all in this area. We are truly blessed to be in the Royal Gorge region. No better place to be an angler, I'm certain of that. Give us a shout, shoot us an email, shoot us a chat line message if you have any questions. Thanks so much for viewing here today, and make sure to tell all your friends to subscribe here to our YouTube channel and check us out on our social media at Instagram and TikTok.